Smooth, deep, and confident voice begins over subtle, atmospheric music. Your mind feels like a browser with 100 tabs open. A constant hum of notifications you can't turn off. Deadlines, other people's opinions, past mistakes, future worries. The noise is relentless. Most men believe this chaos is the price of ambition. They think the solution is to hustle harder, to think faster, to simply outwork the noise. But this is a strategic error. It's like trying to calm a storm by shouting at the wind. It only leaves you exhausted and defeated. The truth? The order you seek is not found by adding more effort. It is found by applying one, single, devastatingly effective filter, a principle so fundamental that it acts as the master key to your entire internal world. This is the secret operating system that distinguishes the man who is in command from the man who is merely reacting. It is the core of modern Stoicism, stripped of ancient jargon and forged into a weapon for today's world. And in the next hour, I'm going to install it directly into your mind. Before we begin, I want you to answer one question in the comments. What is the one thought that drains the most energy from you right now? Be honest. Acknowledging it is the first step. Let's first define the battlefield. The modern world is engineered for your distraction. It profits from your anxiety, your outrage, and your confusion. Every notification, every headline, every social media feed is a deliberate attempt to hijack your focus and pull you away from your center. This creates a state of permanent internal conflict. You are told to be strong, yet sensitive. Ambitious, yet balanced. A leader, yet a team player. These conflicting demands create fractures in your psyche, leaving you feeling like you are constantly failing on some front. The common response to this pressure is either aggressive action or passive surrender. You either burn yourself out trying to control everything, or you numb yourself to escape the feeling of being overwhelmed. Both paths lead to the same destination, a quiet sense of desperation. This is where we draw the line. The Stoic approach does not engage in this rigged game. It does not fight the storm. It builds a lighthouse. It establishes an unshakable point of stability from which you can observe the chaos without being consumed by it. To do this, you must first understand the fundamental law of power, and that law begins with a simple, brutal division of reality. The first principle, the Great Division. Imagine you are the captain of a ship in the middle of a vast ocean. There are things you can control, and there are things you absolutely cannot. You can control the rudder, the sails, the actions of your crew. This is your domain of power. But you cannot control the wind, the size of the waves, or the sudden storm that appears on the horizon. To waste even 1 second of energy raging against the storm is an act of insanity. It does not change the storm. It only weakens the captain. This is the Stoic dichotomy of control, but we will call it the control filter. It is the most important mental model you will ever learn. It states that everything in the universe falls into one of two categories, that which is within your complete control and that which is not. The man whose mind is a mess lives his life constantly confusing the two. The man who has achieved inner order has learned to separate them with surgical precision. This is not a philosophy you debate. It is a law you recognize. Your failure to see this distinction is the source of nearly all your negative emotions. Your unconquerable citadel, the inner world. So, what is truly yours? What falls inside the circle of your absolute control? The list is brutally short, but infinitely powerful. Your thoughts, your judgments, your decisions, your actions. That is it. This is your kingdom, your inner citadel. Nothing external can touch this domain without your permission. Someone can insult you, but they cannot control your judgment of their insult. A project can fail, but it cannot control your decision on how to respond to that failure. The economy can crash, but it cannot control the actions you take to adapt. This is what separates the elite mind from the average. The average man focuses 99% of his energy on externals he cannot influence. He obsesses over what others think of him. He rages against traffic. He laments past decisions. He is a slave to circumstance. The superior man, the modern Stoic, turns his focus inward. He understands that 100% of his power lies in mastering this small internal kingdom, because whoever masters this domain masters their reality. The realm of indifference, releasing the world's weight. Now let's look at the other category, the things outside your control. This includes almost everything. Your reputation, your health, the wealth you have, the opinions of others, the past, the future. The ancient Stoics called these things indifference. This is a widely misunderstood term. It does not mean you don't care if you succeed or fail, if you are healthy or sick. It means your inner peace, your core stability, is not dependent on them. Think of it like this. You can prefer to win a game. You can train and play to the best of your ability. That is within your control. But the final score is not entirely up to you. There are referees, the luck of the bounce, the skill of your opponent. The Stoic plays to win, but he is not destroyed by a loss. His sense of self-worth is not tied to the scoreboard. This mental posture, this emotional detachment from outcomes, is the key to invincibility. It allows you to act with full force and commitment without the crippling fear of failure. Applying the filter, a practical exercise. This isn't just theory, it's a tool. Right now, think of the problem that is causing you the most stress, that thought you wrote in the comments. Let's run it through the filter. Take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write within my control. On the right, outside my control. Now dissect your problem. Are you worried about an upcoming presentation? The quality of your slides and your preparation go on the left. The audience's reaction, the projector failing, your boss's mood, that all goes on the right. This simple act is revolutionary. It visually separates the signal from the noise. It shows you exactly where your energy must be focused and what you must learn to accept with tranquil indifference. The chaos in your mind exists because you are trying to write on the right side of the page. You are trying to control the uncontrollable. The moment you stop, the moment you focus exclusively on the left column, is the moment order begins to be restored. This is not a one-time fix. This is your new daily practice. The myth of emotional suppression. A common critique of Stoicism is that it teaches men to suppress their emotions, to become unfeeling robots. This is a profound misunderstanding propagated by those who have not done the work. Stoicism is not about not feeling emotions. It is about not being a slave to them. Anger, fear, and sadness are natural reactions to external events. They are the initial, uncontrolled data that your mind receives. The untrained man identifies with this initial feeling. He says, "I am angry." His emotion becomes his identity. The trained Stoic, however, experiences the same initial feeling, but immediately applies the control filter. He acknowledges the feeling of anger and then asks, "Is the source of this feeling within my control?" If someone insults him, the initial spark of anger is there, but his judgment, which is in his control, steps in and says, "This person's opinion is outside my control." It is noise. My reaction, however, is my own. He doesn't suppress the emotion. He dissects it, understands its origin, and chooses not to assent to it. This is emotional control, not emotional suppression. It is a superpower. The power of a reserved clause. Preparing for reality. So how do you pursue ambitious goals in a world where outcomes are not guaranteed? You use what the Stoics called the reserved clause, or hupex hairesis. In modern terms, you can think of it as acting with an escape hatch for your soul. Every plan you make, every action you take should have an implicit footnote. Fate permitting. For example, I will close this deal. Fate permitting. I will have a successful relationship. Fate permitting. This isn't pessimism. It's the ultimate realism. It does two things. First, it mentally prepares you for the possibility of failure, robbing it of its sting. Second, it focuses your efforts on the process, not the prize. You pour all your energy into what you can control, the pitch, the communication, the effort, while acknowledging that the final outcome is not entirely in your hands. Men who burn out are those who attach their entire identity to the outcome. Men who endure, who possess true resilience, are those who attach their identity to their effort. This subtle mental shift changes everything. Music swells slightly, becoming more resolute and powerful. The chaos in your mind has a single, identifiable source. Your relentless and futile attempt to control what you cannot. That is the entire diagnosis. The noise, the anxiety, the frustration, it is all a symptom of this one fundamental error. But today, you have been given the cure, the control filter, the simple, profound, and life-altering practice of separating what is yours from what is not. This is not a mental trick. It is an alignment with reality itself. The one thing I want you to take away from this hour is this. You are not the events that happen in your life. You are not other people's opinions of you. You are not your successes or your failures. You are your response. That is the only variable you command, and it is the only one that truly matters. Master your inner citadel, and the chaos of the world will look less like a threat and more like a passing storm. You will become the lighthouse, strong, stable, a beacon of order in a world of disorder. This is your birthright as a thinking man. Thank you for your time and your intellectual focus. If this resonated with you, subscribe and join the few who are committed to this path. Become one of the men who choose to build, not complain. Now, for your final task. In the comments, tell me, what is one area of your life where you will consciously apply the control filter this week?